Hi, Andy. I'm Cassandra, your social worker. Alright, before we start, I do have to tell you about confidentiality. Whatever is said between you and me will stay between us. You don't have to worry about me telling others. I do have to inform you though, if you are planning to hurt yourself with others, I will have to contact the authorities. Is that okay?
Yes.
Alright, perfect. So to start off, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good, good. Okay, perfect. Alright, so is there anything different or something like significant happened recently?
Yeah, I guess recently my let's see, how do I explain this? So when I was 10, my parents got divorced, and then when I was 14, my dad remarried.
Oh.
And him and his wife had 2 kids. They're 7 and 3 right now. And my stepmom and 2 brothers just moved to Colorado. So they left the state, yeah.
I'm sorry to hear about your parents' divorce. So you say your dad got remarried, and it was the stepmom and stuff.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I don't mean to like intrude, but are they like still good, or is it because of how?
Yeah, so they're good. She moved because of a job offer. She's a chiropractor, and they over the summer she was up in Colorado and was training, and she was gonna come down here and open an office down here, but they offered her a job up there, so she up and left with her kids. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your dad planning to move there?
Yeah. So he said within 6 months to a year, because he works at the railroad right now, so he has to get a transfer in, or he could possibly just go up there to a different company. But he's worked at the railroad here for 21 years, I think, so he has all that retirement. Yeah. So if he doesn't go, or if he just goes to a different company, there's a possibility he could lose that retirement.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, well that's nice. I mean, is your dad like okay, like with his wife moving?
Yeah, she wasn't really working before, just doing like in-home care for patients. So he's excited for this opportunity for her to like bring more money in. But it does suck because like he has me and then my older sister and my younger brother that like we're all 3 still gonna be here, and he's gonna move, so it's kind of sad. But
okay. Yeah. Do you have a good relationship with them?
With my siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all really close. Ever since like because when my parents got divorced, it was kind of a rough divorce. Like my mom was on drugs and stuff, so there was a lot of like custody battles, and my dad moved in with our grandma, his mom, and so we moved in there too. And it was kind of like a smaller house, so we were like grew up real close together and stuff. So all we've ever had is like each other. So I think that helped us be really close. I think that my brother's 18, and I think he's taking it hard because he's kind of like acting different.
Yeah.
Which it kind of sucks because he's acting different towards me, and I know it's like nothing I did, but I take it personally, So.
Yeah, and then when what do you mean by he was acting? Did he act different and like recently or like right after the divorce happened?
Recently, because when the divorce happened, he was only like 4 or 5 or 6. Yeah, so he was like younger. So he was kind of like, he grew up like knowing the divorce, but recently when things went with my stepmom moved away, and we found out my dad was going to move eventually too, he's just been kind of gets irritated really easily, and is always like on edge, it seems. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, how are your relationship with your step siblings?
It's pretty good. They're still like pretty young, so the 7-year-old, him and I are like, I don't know, the fun big sister, I guess, like like cookies, whatever.
Yeah.
So I miss them a lot. I think that I'm worried that the 3-year-old isn't going to remember me just because he's so young. But it's good. It was good before they left. I think the 7-year-old, he was saying that he didn't want to move and all this stuff before he left. So I mean, there's nothing I can do, but I felt bad. So.
Oh yeah, you felt like you had just like, oh no, my little baby brother's finally leaving.
Exactly,
Yeah. Must be hard, you know.
Yeah.
Well, then how did you take the divorce yourself? Like, as in, because you said you were 10 when it happened?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So how was that?
It was really rough. I just remember like the day that it happened, I was supposed to go to school to do we had like, I was in 4th grade, so we had little like plays that went on.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go to school and like rehearse it, and I just remember being woken up and the cops were at our house, and they escorted like me, my mom, and then my 2 siblings to a shelter because my mom was saying that like my dad was hitting her and stuff, which like wasn't true. So we went to like 2 different shelters, and then we ended up at my grandparents' house, I think. So like that was pretty traumatic. And then after the divorce too, there was like instances where my mom, so they were obviously like living separate, and we would at the beginning go week after week. So week with my mom, week with my dad, and then my mom would not have seizures, but just take too many pills or whatever, like, and then not pass out either because she was awake, but I don't know how to describe it, but she just wasn't like all there.
She wasn't mentally there.
Yeah, so I had to call the cops a lot of the time. Yeah, my dad, I remember one of the times like I called the cops, and then the paramedics came, and my dad was at work, so he left work and came to the house, and I remember him like pulling up, and then I just like ran out because I was like, oh, like he's home, and like I just thought it was like normal that like I had to kept calling the police. Like I wasn't upset or anything, but I remember hugging my dad, and he was just like crying. I was like, oh, like something's wrong. So soon after that, it like he wouldn't let our mom drive with us. He wouldn't eventually let her be watch us unsupervised. Like my grandparents had to be there, and then eventually he just stopped letting us go back to my mom altogether. So he didn't officially get full custody, but my mom didn't fight it either. So to like get custody. So it was pretty traumatic because like you always like want your parents, or at least like your mom, to love you, and like obviously she doesn't. So it's just it's been hard like growing up like without a mother figure, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, it looks like you went through a lot. No, yeah, you must have been like you just never, like you said, you never had a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, and then you said you were 10 when it happened.
Yeah.
And then that your dad remarried at 14.
Yeah.
Was that transition?
Yeah, it was pretty. It's just so funny, like, looking back on it, because my stepmom, when they first met, because my grandma worked with this lady who was, like, the godmother of my stepmom. So it was, like, through mutual friends or whatever. And she was real nice at the beginning and, like, wanted to introduce us as her daughters, like, me and my sister, like, all this stuff. Very nice to us.
Yeah.
You know, ideal. And then as soon as they got married, they got pregnant, like, right away with my first brother.
Yeah.
And so, like, the wedding night, I was like, okay, they didn't waste any time. But as soon as my brother was born, like, she changed because she finally had her own son.
Yeah.
Or had her own kid. So, I think, it was 14. He was born in March, and then my birthday's in April. So I was, like, 15 basically at that point. And from then, I'm 22 now. So, like, 7 years, it's just been crazy. Like, we ended up moving like up on this side of town, and my like sister and my stepmom would always like fight and butt heads, and there was just so much tension in the house, and my sister ended up like moving out, and like my stepmom and brother don't really get along, so like that was kind of awkward, and I always just tried to like keep the peace because I hate confrontation, but I was like, oh, I don't know. So now it was really rocky, like just recently too. Before they left to Colorado, it was really rough.
Yeah.
Like living with her because she's so like manipulative, I guess, or like toxic. I don't know. She's just not.
In like what sense?
Yeah, she's she'll do this thing where she comes home and if like there's dishes in the sink or there's her kids' toys around, she'll huff and puff it and like kick them and slam the cupboards and unload the dishwasher so like noisily and just make sure like if you're sitting on the couch that you know that she's upset that it wasn't done or something like that.
Yeah.
So she's just, there's a word for it, like her nonverbal actions, I guess, just are very off-putting. I don't know if that's, yeah.
Like she doesn't say that she
passive aggressive. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like with her actions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really rough.
And and how long did you say she was like that? Ever since she got the first.
Yeah. So it wasn't really bad in the beginning. So
yeah.
From like probably 15 to probably like when I was 19. So like 4 years. It was. I mean, she had issues with my sister and my brother, but me, I was just kind of like, okay, keep the peace. And then just the past like 2 or 3 years, it's been pretty rough, like with me too.
So it's like ever since that, after the divorce, your dad did he get remarried?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He got remarried, and then it looks like after she had her first child, it just kind of like got like a little rock bottom for all of you guys, especially with your siblings, like with the stepmom. Yeah. Oh wow. That's a lot, honestly. And you were like just 15 too.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean, does your dad like ever aware of any of this?
It's so funny because I think he's just like me where he hates confrontation, so he tries to stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've told him a couple times, and in the beginning, like when it was first happening, like when I was 17 or 18, I mentioned it, just that things are not ideal, and he before he knew like the real, I guess, trauma that like we faced with our mom, he would be like, oh, just go live with your mom, or just go, because she just lived in South Phoenix or whatever. So so he just kind of wanted to like sweep the problem under the rug, basically. He didn't want to really deal with it. And even like his like our grandma, and he has 3 sisters also, so they all say like once they have the kid, they can see the change in him, and they can see that she like manipulates him, and he just basically does whatever he can to keep her happy. So I think he does see it, but I think he chooses to make her happy over like make his kids happy, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, yeah, it makes sense. Oh wow. And then like, sorry, I'm just trying to like put everything together. Okay. And then, I mean, does it ever get to a bad point where he has to step in, or?
There was actually a point in May where my brother graduated high school.
Yeah. And
my stepmom had posted this thing on Facebook that basically said like congratulations to Max or whatever, but then she's like, but even more of a congratulations to Mike, which is my dad, and she like, you've just done so much for your son, and it goes unappreciated. So she made a lengthy post where it was Max's, like my brother's, like we should be celebrating him, but she was more celebrating my dad. So I'm not one to say anything, but I did say something to my stepmom, and she was like, oh, well, I need to explain to you in person, blah, blah, it's not, what you think it is. And then I went home that night, because I was at my boyfriend's house forever, and I told I was like, okay, like, let's talk. And my dad came and just spoke for her, basically. So he stepped in that point, but he doesn't usually step in. So I was surprised that he did step in at that point, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, how did your brother take that? Did he even, like...
So he doesn't have social media.
Oh.
But my dad doesn't either, so that's kind of funny that my, like, stepmom would even say anything about my dad. So, but I showed my brother, and he was like, oh, like, it is what it is. Like, he knew his relationship with our stepmom was rocky, and he was just like, whatever, like, that's who she is. But said he was still like it shouldn't have been said by her, basically. Like he was still
like at the end of the day it wasn't okay.
Yeah. So I basically left that conversation like after talking to my dad and stepmom, because we all sat down just feeling like there was no getting through to them that what it was, like how I saw it, and how everyone who, like, I sent it to some of my friends who know like my stepmom and my aunts and stuff, and they all agreed like, oh, she shouldn't have said it. Like that was you know, what she said was out of place, but they, at least my stepmom, just thought there was nothing wrong with it. So, and my dad took her side. So
yeah, it just must suck. It's just like, you know, for you to see that, especially towards your brother, you're probably feeling so protective of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the same way. But yeah, I mean, have you ever yourself confronted her besides like that time on social media? Like, just ever like, hey, you know?
Yeah, I haven't actually. Like, I hate. There's something about confrontation that makes me so like gives me so much anxiety, and I just don't know. Because I think I saw like my sister and her, how they would fight, because my sister would say stuff to her, and then my stepmom just like turned on her pretty fast. So I was like, I don't want that. I just want to like keep the peace. But she usually never really said like the kind of stuff to me that she would say to them. Because I mean, even my brother one time, he's like told her that he didn't like her, and so I was like, okay. But like I might feel the same way, but I would never say anything. So I think that's why like things were okay for a while. But I think that was the only time I've ever stood up. But I think because it was my brother was like in the middle of it.
Yeah. So you say, so you like, you just said right now you don't really like her.
Yeah. Once. I think basically since the beginning when they, or not since the beginning, I guess when she started turning and I saw how she was treating my siblings and stuff, then that's when I was like, I don't like her, but let's just not, try to keep the peace or whatever. So
you're feeling like, I don't like her, but I don't want to like cause any problems between her and I, because right now it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you don't want you don't want your relationship to be like your siblings, am I right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Alright. Well, has your like stepmom ever like even apologized to your siblings? Or just like, do you think she ever realized?
No, I don't think she does. I think she thinks she's always in the right. She's just one of those people that is always right, and always has to be right, and always knows everything and knows what's best and all this stuff. So I've never heard her apologize a single time, like not even to my dad or anything, which is actually funny now that I think about it. But
she's just a stubborn character.
Yeah,
from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, how's she with her own kids?
She's I definitely, like, after seeing her parent, I wouldn't parent the same way. I just she's kind of a hypocrite, because she would always like nag on us for being on our phones, or like when we were younger we had like iPod touches or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just this last Christmas she bought my 7-year-old brother, I guess he was 6 at the time.
Yeah.
An iPad, like a full-on iPad. And I was like, oh, okay. And then they got my 3-year-old brother a tablet. So it's just kind of like, okay, you were nagging us at like 15, 16, 12 for having, like, being on our iPods, and then you bought your 6-year-old this iPad, and you let him play games, and so it's just seeing how she nagged on us, and then how that changed so quick when she had kids, and how she just gives them, the iPads when they're being fussy or anything. It's it's just weird to see that that's how she wanted to parent us, but then she parents them a different way. And it's funny too to see how, like, when they're with my stepmom, usually my 3-year-old brother, he just like throws fits and whines, and because she eventually like gives in, like whatever they want she gives it to them, just because she wants them to like stop whining, or I don't know, it's just, I hate how she parents. But and then when she was in Colorado over the summer, my two brothers were still here, and they were just so different with my dad. Like my 3-year-old brother, my dad would let him whine it out, like just cry and throw his tantrum, but he wouldn't like give him attention, because he's just being dramatic and he just wants like another cookie or like whatever. So, and eventually like he'll stop. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna get this attention that I'm getting, that I usually get from mom. That like, you know, dad's not giving it to me. He's not having it. So, they just seemed happier. Like they seem happier with my dad than they do with my stepmom, because there's always like crying and whining. I'm like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it's interesting to like watch how they parent differently.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like to me already. She probably just didn't know how to parent with like you guys, and now she just took like a whole 180 turn with her own kids.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Does it feel like ever unfair? Or is it just like?
I try and think of it like, because I guess when I was their age, like 7, like my parents were still together, and we got, I mean, one year me and my sister got like phones, but they only had like 4 buttons on it, so it wasn't like a real phone. But so like we did have things also, like when my parents were together, but then like after they divorced, we didn't really have like a lot. So then I think, oh, like they're getting all this stuff, and like we had nothing. But I mean, times are so like such. They're just different times now. Like their parents aren't together, or you know, they're married and mine weren't. So it's like hard to like compare and contrast. But yeah, it's just, it does seem unfair though that she does give them so much and she doesn't like help us out at all. Like my transmission in my car just went out recently, and I had to like take out a loan and stuff, and like she, you know, it's just my dad's like, oh, like I'll help you out, like he's using his money, and you know, she's known me since I was like 13 or something, so you know, she could offer like, oh, here, let me help you pay for this too. Like I know if it was her own kid, obviously she wouldn't. So she doesn't see us as kids. She just sees us as, I would say, roommates or
my husband's
her husband's kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Has she ever like given you or your own siblings the idea that she probably doesn't, you know, like ever been rude to you, or do you think like, oh, she doesn't like me either, or she doesn't like me in general?
Yeah, I think I can't think of specific times, but just the way she acts all the time is so, like, you can tell, like, she ignores us in the house, and she just doesn't, she only makes dinner for her, for my dad and her boys, and not, like, anyone else. Well, now it's just, like, me and my brother, my sister doesn't live with us anymore, but, and then whenever she posts things on Facebook, she's like, oh, this is my family, and it's just a picture of my dad and her boys, so she doesn't even include us in her family, which definitely makes it seem like, oh, like, she doesn't care. And there was actually a point, I think, like, a few years ago where, her and my now 7-year-old brother just left for like a month because she didn't want to live in the same house as us, so they went to her mom's house, so she couldn't handle living with us or something like that, so that also was like, oh wow, she doesn't like us, so and I remember bringing that up to my dad one time. I was like, it's like, you can tell like she doesn't care, and he's like, oh, like it's not that, she's just needs space or whatever, so he was just making excuses for her and kind of disregarding, like, I don't know if my siblings said anything, but disregarding how I felt and how it made me feel, because especially like after, you know, like not growing up with a mom, and then having her like to think she liked us and then like abandon us too, it's like, oh, like, are we not worthy, you know, just kind of things like that. So
you just like never felt like, oh, I'll never get a mom? Yeah,
I kind of accepted that I guess a few years ago. Like, my grandma and aunts are like the closest thing to like a mother figure that I've ever had. So I do like view them as not like moms, but I always get them like a Mother's Day card and on Mother's Day and stuff. So it's nice because we're all really close. Like me and my aunts and cousins and stuff. So but it's
still hard. For, you know. Well, it's nice that you have a support system like your grandma and aunt, but, you know, I mean, are you close with your dad now that, like, ever since?
I was always daddy's girl, I guess. I don't know, I've always been close to him. My sister and him, however, they weren't really close. My dad has said that my sister has like traits that my mom had, so he, like, I don't know if that's why they just kind of like butt heads or something, but yeah, me and my dad, I was always closer to my dad than I was closer to my mom, but yeah, I think when my stepmom came back just this last couple months before she went back up to Colorado, my dad was very distant. And he was like that too before she left over the summer, so he's different when she's around, and now that she's gone, he's different in a better way. Like, he is the way he used to be, I guess. So
before, like, she got in the picture?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
She definitely changes him, not for the better, I don't think.
You don't think?
But yeah.
And do you ever feel like you kind of wish he kind of was gone so you could get your dad back?
Yeah, often, like, I do wish that. I think that, like, how things would have been different, but, I don't know. I love my brothers, like, my two half-brothers, but, yeah, I don't know, because they're obviously, like, still growing up, so they take so much, money of his and stuff. My son really wasn't making that much money, so I think, if, my dad never got remarried, then maybe, like, we could have all gotten, like, a house, just the four of us, and, yeah, things probably would have been so different, but I think he wanted, like, someone, like, a partner in life, so I think I don't think he wants to get divorced again, so I think he's really trying hard to, like, make this one work, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you, like, basically, from what I'm hearing is that you just want to make this work for your dad as well?
Yeah.
So that's why you probably never felt like you need to say or confront her?
Yeah, I definitely always keep in mind that if he's happy, then, like, that's all that matters, because, like, at the end of the day, like, I know that he loves us, but there's no, like, getting through to him, so I just have to accept that if he's happy with her and, like, how things are going, then I just have to let it be, because like you said, I do have, like, other support systems that I can, like, lean on if I need, so. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's nice. Well, hopefully that maybe one day that you guys will just, talk it out.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for you too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Well, then your siblings, your sister, you said that she moved out and she never had, like, the best, really? Or not the best, I wouldn't say that, but.
I think you're right there. She never, like, with my dad or my stepmom either, actually, so.
Is she still in contact with you guys?
Yeah, she is. She comes over often. She just lives, like, a couple streets down, so she's not, like, super far, yeah. And she just moved into a house, like, with some roommates, so she's, she told my dad she got a promotion at work, and my dad's excited for her, and they talk, like, here and there, but they don't talk every day. Like, if I move out, I think, I text my dad every day, or I call him every day, or, something like that, but she doesn't feel like she needs to have that, contact with him, just because I think she does take it harder, like, everything that happened and how my dad treats us harder than I take it. But
how old is she?
23. So she's just a year older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Because I was like, usually the older kids usually take it the hardest because they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably knew too, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone reacts to, traumatic things like that differently.
Yeah.
It's probably just you two are in the
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, that's nice that you guys still talk, like her and your dad.
Yeah.
Are you too close by any chance?
Yeah, we weren't close growing up. It was just like a sister thing, because we're only 11 months apart, so we were like, we shared everything growing up, and it was just like, but yeah, when she moved out, we definitely, like, got closer, because I didn't see her as much, so I was like, oh, I kind of miss her, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So we oftentimes, like, me, her, and my brother will go out to, like, dinner or lunches, or we'll, like, take our grandma out to lunch or something, so we do a lot of stuff together, like, we'll see movies, so I don't think that'll ever change, like, we'll all have each other for because we all went through something that like no one else really understands,
Mhm.
like except us, because like we were in that situation. So
Mhm.
I think it's nice to like have each other too.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you guys have keep in contact.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then your brother, does he like? You said he was 4 or 5.
When the divorce happened.
So it looks like you like, it sounds to me that your sister took it like,
The hardest.
the hardest.
Yeah.
You kind of were like the peacemaker. Where did your brother fit into?
I think he was. I think he was 5 because I think he was in kindergarten. But I really don't know. I think that's all just he ever knew. He was like, because I think back, I don't really remember much from when I was 5, so I couldn't imagine like he did. But it was probably hard on him to grow up like just knowing that like back and forthness, and then not really fully understanding like, oh, why is my dad not like letting us go see your mom, or like why do we have to call the cops so often to like wake up my mom? So he is the only one of us right now that's like in therapy, and he does like have really bad anxiety. So like I think that's probably because we all like my whole dad's side of the family like has really bad anxiety, but he has it like really bad. I think that the trauma that he went through didn't help. It just probably made it worse.
Yeah.
And it probably was because of how young he was, and it was like suppressed and stuff. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that he's taking therapy.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of doing therapy throughout like the whole thing when you were younger?
We did try and go to a family therapist, I think, but I think they just started like seeing my dad, and then my dad didn't like them for some reason, and then after that, we each did go to therapy individually. I never stuck with it for too long.
Yeah.
I never really liked therapy, but my sister was in it for a little bit, and she didn't stick with it for long, and then my brother, I don't know if he was ever in it when he was younger. I know that we did go see like the school counselors in like middle school and elementary school and stuff, but right now like I'm on medication, and then my brother's on medication, but he's been going to therapy for probably almost 2 years or a year and a half or something, so he's really like stuck out with it.
Yeah.
And I've tried it recently too, but it's just so hard to like try and find someone that like you can like build that like rapport with and like feel comfortable with,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, no relationship or like it can never start off,
right on the first day.
First day, but I mean, have you ever had the urge to go back or find one as of now?
Kinda. I think my boyfriend is like really nice and trying to like not push me to go, but definitely like keep me on the path to like try and find someone, because I did go see someone a couple times, but he just like he's a nice guy, great guy, but he would talk most of the session. I'm like, are we here for you or are we here for me? Like,
oh.
So it was kind of because I preferred to like talk to males and stuff too, so I was like, oh, like that'll narrow the search or whatever, and then he was just like not the one I was like, I am gonna. So there was a guy that I like looked up, and I actually called, and he never called me back, so maybe I should try and call again. But that's the thing, like I do little things like that, and then I don't like pursue it further. So it's like in my mind, I think it would be good, because they always say that like medication and therapy like go best hand in hand, not just like one or the other. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, have you and your boyfriend, it sounds like to me that he's trying to encourage you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's trying to, looks like he's trying too much from what he's attending.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you yourself tried to do it, like on your own, maybe? Besides like that guy you just mentioned?
Yeah, not really.
Have you felt the need to?
Yeah, how do I explain it? Like before, back in March, like I actually ended up getting like sent to the hospital for like an inpatient for like suicidal ideations and stuff.
Oh.
So I was inpatient, and that was just kind of a wake-up call. Like, oh, like obviously I need to like do something about it. And after that, I was like, I went to go see someone at like ASU, and I was just like talking to them, and they were very like, oh, our goal is to get you like out there. So I guess really like not myself. I feel like I definitely need like the support of other people, because when I think about it, I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna do it, and then I just never do it. So it's harder for me to do things on my own. I like definitely need the support of like early encouragement of like other people.
Oh, so it sounds to me that your boyfriend's a good
yeah.
Okay,
good
well,
ally, yeah.
But yeah, I could see that. It's kind of like working out. I know a couple people need like a push, basically.
Yeah.
They need a push to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear about the March accent. It sounds
okay.
She's been through a lot.
Yeah. It's been a long 22 years.
Oh, true. Well, so right now you're just like kind of just like in the midst of like maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah. I've been on like this one antidepressants for 5 months, I think.
Oh.
6 months. So it's definitely like helping a little, but I think it'd be good to like definitely talk to someone and talk out everything, because there's I can like see it in my relationship too, that like with my boyfriend, that I do things that are not like that could jeopardize it, but that are the way I act and the way I handle situations. Like I'm very emotional. I'm like not over dramatic. I mean, I guess I am, but I take things super personal. Like when he says certain things, and I think that's just like the way that because I experience certain things. So like if I talk to someone and they give me skills to use to be like, okay, well, just when this happens, like think of this, or just to help me not jeopardize anything like with him or anyone like potential boyfriends if it doesn't work out. But I hope it does.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Does it like bother you when people try to give you advice or like those skills that you mentioned?
I don't think so. I think it's like good, but the other thing is like I take them like, oh, like, that's a good idea, or like I like getting advice, but then when I'm in the moment, if like say he says something and I'm like, oh, like what did he mean by that, like blah blah, like I overthink it. I think all the advice like goes out the window. I'm like, oh, like, what am I supposed to do? So it's definitely like a practice, and like you have to like keep doing it. So.
Okay. And does your boyfriend like understand like from your viewpoint?
Yeah, he's also a social work major, so he's very like it's pretty good, because I like don't have to, I mean I do have to explain stuff to him, but he gets it,
he understands. Yeah.
So
that's nice.
Yeah.
Must be.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wow, so it just sounds to me that you just always like you said, you take things personal, and just sometimes you don't even know how to act in the moment. So you feel like therapy would help you walk, not talk the talk, but you just how to find
it into play, or I
Yeah.
think I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then sorry, I can't explain.
No, I don't know how to explain it either.
But yeah, like you mentioned earlier, it's like antidepressants and therapy. They kind of have to go hand in hand, because it's nice just talking.
Yeah.
It really is. And it sounds to me like from what you've been through in the past, that you just have a lot you keep to yourself.
Yeah.
Especially like being a peacemaker.
Yeah.
It just like I think it sounds nice in general, like
yeah, even if there was like nothing going on, it's like it'd probably be nice just to like vent to someone without feeling judged. So I can only imagine like how nice it would feel to vent to someone like that can help me with like what I'm feeling and stuff, so
yeah, because just talking to someone is like the best thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any desire to talk to someone? Like, not just, I mean, like you said, you mentioned ASU.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever gone back ever since that?
No, he was a nice guy, but he was basically saying their goal is short term, and their goal is to like get you into long term care. So I could always go back and just check in and be like, hey, like I do need more help to find someone. But I don't know, I hate making appointments. I hate like feeling like a bother, I guess, and I don't want to like. I mean, I know it's his job, but I feel like I'm interrupting like his day or something, or like, oh, it's you again type thing, like. Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, cause I definitely like don't want to keep putting it on like my boyfriend and being like, oh, like I constantly need you to help me do this. Like I need to take action myself, but yeah, I don't know. I also think that like there's a time when I'll just be like, okay, like I'm just gonna do it, and like there's gonna be some like fire like spark or something. I'm just gonna like do it and get it done and be on the right track. But hopefully it's not like on a downward spiral. It's like a positive time. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
So it just sounds to me that you just right now is like it's not just the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think so. Yeah.
No, I see what you mean. Sometimes like getting help is scary.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
But you do need the what's it called, the drive, I guess, to do it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But I mean, it's nice to know that you have like resources, like your boyfriend, and then the counselor.
Mm-hmm.
So you have access, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope. I mean, I don't want to pressure anything. But yeah, like I said, I hope one day that you find like the peace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Within
I
that.
hope so too.
I hope so. All right. So it looks like we're out of time. Is there anything else you want to say before we?
No, I think.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you soon.